And now I'm going to turn this over to Jan Dyer from the Allaire and Associates to talk about the LA River regional public access components of this as well.
Thank you. We are actually part of the team who worked on the river master plan that council member referred to, and are passionate about projects along the river, so we're very excited when Esther approached us about working on this project with her. So the project site, I think we all know it well, the Weddington Golf and Tennis Facility. Adjacent to it is the LA River Natural Park River Trail and the parking garage, 391 spaces, as Esther mentioned. Now, the typical condition in the San Fernando Valley along the LA River is very built out. You have everything from commercial buildings to apartment buildings, typically right up to the right-of-way, a 15-foot flood control district right-of-way along the river. And those areas are shown in red along the river here in this diagram. The other condition you have in the valley is what you have at Sepulveda Basin, or up where you get into Griffith Park, where we have habitat along the river. So all of these conditions prevent access to the river. So we have the river trail, which is existing. These rings around the project site show the walking distance to the project. It shows how far out about a 5-minute walk and a 10-minute walk would be. So you can see there's a lot of residential area, both apartments and single family, within close proximity to the site. Bus stops, a tremendous number of bus stops providing access to this site for those who want to come via public transportation. The Coldwater Canyon off-ramp off of the Ventura Freeway, and also the Laurel Canyon off-ramp. So the LA just came out with a bike plan, and it's already being implemented in the valley. Some of it is well received, some of it is controversial. But there's 3 types of bikeways proposed for the city. The first is the Green Bikeway Network, and these trails occur along the river and the tributaries to the river, such as the Tujunga Wash. What you see in purple would be the primary, what they call the backbone network, and these are trails that exist along major north, south, and east-west streets. These are also probably the greatest opportunity for, I believe it's a Class 1 bikeway. The third type, which is shown in the orange here, is the neighborhood bike network. And these are how you access basically out of your neighborhood, getting to public transit or getting onto the backbone or the Greenway trails. So if you take a look at the project site, you can see that bicycle access to the site is going to be easy and it's going to be critical. Also, the metro station is very close by. So we have access to this site. You've seen how close it is to walk. There's bicycles, there's the bus stops, and now the metro. Plus, we have the benefit of the 391 car parking garage adjacent. And again, you can see all the bus stops. So really, anyone should be able to get to this site easily. Also located close to the site, you can see all the schools. There's a tremendous number of schools, and I think this site has great potential as an educational component for the youth. There's a tremendous number of parks nearby, so we always look at, for those of us who'd like to work on river projects, thank you. Those of us who enjoy working on river projects, we're always looking at connectivity. And how do we get from one park to the next park, and how do we do this in a green, linear fashion? So this project offers an opportunity to not only connect the parking structure to this particular site, but to reach out into the community and connect to other parks and to schools. Also, there's a tremendous amount of commercial opportunity. So this is the kind of site where I think someone can come and spend the day. You can enjoy the park spot, you can go rent a bicycle, bring your bicycle and enjoy the trails. You can go out to lunch. There's an opportunity to come and spend the day here. So taking a look at, zooming in, we were just out at 5,000 feet, now we're zooming in a little closer to the project site, the various components. So, as Esther and I have mentioned, critical to this site, because it's very unique. You don't get opportunities along the river, first of all, with this size of a piece of property, but then to have parking, where you don't have to take a good portion of your project site and devote it to parking. So we do have the parking garage already in place. And we would propose that a portion of this be utilized as a bicycle hub, where you can either ride your bike to and leave your bike and then explore the park, or you can rent bikes and explore the river and the river trails. We have the existing ramp down to the existing river trail. And then the pedestrian and bicycle bridge, which is already in place to get you across the river. We would then propose a river trail connection to the parking garage from the natural park. And then the proposed river trails to the Coldwater. We would also propose another pedestrian/bicycle bridge along the river. One of the things that we think is critical as projects along the river are developed is access and to be able to get back and forth across the river. Right now there are very few access points across the river, and it makes it very difficult. You have to go from Coldwater to Whitsett to get across. So we would propose a connection across the river at some point. So now zooming in a little further into the site itself. One of the things that the master plan talks about is improvements along the river should have a gateway and provide river identity. And we think by providing a gateway point and enhanced street plantings, you're providing a welcoming entrance to this natural park. So at the gateway, we would have this entry plaza, and some of the components of the entry plaza would be bicycle corrals where people can park their bikes and get off and explore the park. There would be shade structures. There might be a visitor kiosk and restrooms, some sort of interpretive signage, benches, shade, trees. Thank you. We would also propose to do some traffic calming, and that is to provide a safe bicycle and pedestrian access across the street to get into the park. This can be done with, you can do bulb outs in the street to slow traffic. It can be done with signals where you hit the button and the light flashes and you cross. It can be done with enhanced paving. There's many ways to do this. And then we thought that there's some significant grade changes at this site between the river edge itself and the gateway or the entry plaza into this site. So we would like to use the grade changes as an opportunity to provide some river viewing terraces. Also, this is another educational component. There could be interpretive signage here explaining this history of the LA River, the flora, the fauna. And then walking trails through the park. And again, another part of the educational component, how does our water system work, learning about drought-tolerant plants. People then can come to this park and they can take this information home and utilize it at home in their own backyards. And then the proposed LA River trails, which will take you down then to Coldwater on both sides. So now some of the fun stuff. So these are photo montages that my office put together. What they are is an actual photograph of the existing site, and they've been enhanced to show a vision of what this could be. So this is actually the parking garage, the back of the parking garage as it exists. I mean, one of the things that we talked to Esther about early on is, we didn't illustrate it in these, but the parking garage, you can't find it from Ventura Boulevard. You have to drive up and down the street and sort of hunt for it. So we would propose some sort of a gateway feature actually on Ventura as well to draw you into the site. Once you're on the site, we think a portion of the parking garage can be turned into a bicycle hub. So what this image is showing you is the back of the parking garage, which is existing, and the existing ramp in place. And it's showing you some improvements to the site, such as signage. Not only advertising that this is a bicycle hub and there could be rentals here, but then directing you down to the LA River Natural Park. Again, another enhanced image. This, I almost fell down the cliff there when I was taking this picture, but this was taken across the river of the actual parking garage, and you can see what this might look like with some enhancements. Very minor enhancements are needed to actually make this thing pop. And you can see we've got people in there using the bike trail. You've got the signage, both advertising the garage and the bicycle hub, and then directional signage getting you to the natural park. We're also proposing planting along some of the edges, which I think you're going to see in some of the other photos as well.
Little cruise down the river trail.
Exactly. So here's our gateway. So this is, you've now come up the river trail. You've gone across the street through our nice traffic calming, slowing down the traffic infrastructure there, and you're now walking into the natural park. So this is the gateway as you might see it. So you come in, you see the nice signage, enhanced street tree plantings, some sort of a river element. What we're showing with those boulders and the water there, it pays homage to the river and what it used to be and perhaps what it could be again. There'll be parking for bicycles, there'll be shade structures, there'll be interpretive signage. What else am I missing? Visitor center and restrooms. We see this as a hub. This is just a wonderful place, I think. It's going to appeal to people of all ages. You can bike there, you can walk there, you can drive your car there. And then this is taken from Wixit looking east along the river, looking across to the actual project site. And this is what the river terraces might look like. We have one that's built into the slope, into the side of the project site, and then one that's actually cantilevered out over the river. We're proposing plantings along the river edge, which is in accordance with the master plan. And you can see in the distance a pedestrian/bicycle bridge across the river into the project site.